Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, I'm here with another Stretch the Sketch video YouTube hop. If you look in the description box below, you will see a listing of all the lovely ladies who are also participating in this hop. You will see tons of things where we take a 12 by 12 sketch and we stretch it to a double page layout. We shrink it down to traveler's notebooks or 8.5 by 11. There's a whole smorgasbord of people doing a whole bunch of different things. So make sure you go on over and check them out as well. Now you may be able to hear Xanthi in the background. She is annoyed for some reason. Oh, well, and now she's apparently decided to join us. I don't know if you can see her or not, but yeah, here she is. Okay, so I will get rid of her before I get started, but before I do, I just want to mention a couple of things. I am once again working on the same project I've been working on with this entire video series. That is my traveler's notebooks of my favorite things I do over and over again, things I love. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to call it yet. This week we are talking about The West Wing, which is my favorite TV series ever. I still watch it. It's on Netflix. Hallelujah. Okay, you don't have to pull out all of my 7 sets of DVDs that I have as well. I can just pop Netflix on the screen and we're good to go. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Before I do get you put on fast forward, I will say I am going to be still working with the Oh My Heart collection by Pink Paislee, designed by Paige Evans, and I am working in my Felicity Jane Traveler's Notebook. So I'm going to go ahead, get you put on fast forward, get rid of this furry creature here, and let's get going. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and move some things from the chair next to me so I can place Ms. Xanthi there so she can have a throne and I can actually scrapbook. So I'm going through what I've already done, pointing out my title page is, yes, still indeed empty, before I go ahead and use my Heidi Swap Bulldog clip in order to keep my page pretty flat. So here is the page maps sketch that we are using. I'm looking for some of the papers, and I decided to go with the two I picked, that little mini quilted pattern and then this aqua micro dot as well. So I'm looking to see what size I should cut down the background piece, because obviously in the original 12 by 12 it is 6 by 6, but I need to obviously size it down because I'm not working in that size. I do find a couple scraps of actually the same paper, and that is what I'm going to map my two little photos on. These are sticker paper photos from the HP Sprocket, and they are just images I found on the internet of the DVD covers of the television show. So I just did a search, and then I printed out what came up that I liked. Obviously, just there are other things that came up. So I go ahead and used my thumb to mark where the fold in the traveler's notebook is, and now I'm going to use my handy dandy little trick of putting it down on the side that I'm going to then fold over the traveler's notebook onto it. I like to leave a gap in between. I'm less concerned with the 1/8 of an inch gap in the paper than I am if I butt it up against each other and I'm turning it or people are turning it, of it coming up in that center portion. I think it's a preference as to what you're more concerned about or what you're more OCD over that makes you decide what to go with. So I am a mini gap person. So there you go. All right, I have cut a fishtail banner into this much more colorful piece, and then I forget what it is I'm going to do. So I have to pick it back up and so I can line it up with the inner seam rather than the outer seam. Hello. And I'm going to go ahead and glue down the other side of that to match up with the other side. So here is my background block, and I really like the way this turned out. And I found my photos. I've lost them for a second. And so I placed them there. And now I'm poking through and I'm looking for something to take on those circular elements up at the top of the layout here. I remember to put it back in. Yay me. So I don't want to use a doily because it doesn't feel like I should use a doily on a layout like this, but I'm trying to get something circular and I'm not finding anything that works size-wise. So I decide to, yeah, never mind, I'll work on something else. So instead I'm going to work on that title area in the lower right hand, and I'm looking for something that has more than one color to it, but I'm not finding anything I like. But then I'm poking through and I see this donut. I'm like, hey, I bet if I tuck that behind enough, you're not going to see a donut. So I will audition it there and see if in a minute or two it reads donut when I look at it. So this is how I work, people. Follow the brain, follow the brain. So I don't like the way that looks. And I decide to look through, and back in the 6x6 paper pad, I see this what's supposed to be like indicative of striped paper or washi tape, and I like the way it looks, and I think, well, what if I do a corner piece rather than a strip? And I like the idea of that, and here I'm going to spend an inordinate amount of time. Please remember this is sped up 4 times, trying to line that paper up in order to cut off 1/8 of an inch of a corner. Yeah, okie dokie then. So I finally managed to do that, and I get that glued down, and then I'm going to get that heart. So now I'm concerned that the heart isn't going to look as good, but I do still like it on that multicolored piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead, glue that down, but I'm also going to grab from the puffy stickers that little bunting piece to help create an area down there. Now it's going to look slightly different than the original sketch, but I like the way it looks, so I'm totally happy with it. I'm going to go ahead and get my photos glued down, and now I'm going to start once again seeing what I want to add at the top of the layout. I find this flower die cut and I cut it in half, and it actually works perfectly both on the main photo block and then also in that lower right hand corner. I literally could not have made anything different. Whew, I was so happy with that. So now it's time to look for the journaling block. And I considered that die cut for a while, but it was too big and I really, really liked it. I didn't want to hide the majority of it. So I think, oh, you know what? I can just use this little wonky striped piece of paper that I cannot, no matter what I do, tuck under this other green piece of paper. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and layer it over instead. We'll just give up on that. That'll work. And so while I'm debating on what I want my journaling to be, I decide I'm going to start doing a little bit more embellishing. And here's where I step more away from the original sketch because of where my where my space restraints are. While I'm doing that, I find this little block, and this is actually part of the cut aparts in the 6x6 paper pad. So originally it would have been much larger. So it's a week calendar, well, 6 days calendar. And I just thought it was perfect because it kind of looked like where you would have your TV listings. So here's where I think I will put this puffy heart in the day the show came on and then do the journaling around it. So you're not going to see that on screen only because even though I was 99% sure it was on Wednesdays, I wasn't 100% sure, so I needed to go look it up after I filmed. So I will show you, there is a photo of it to see where you see the journaling and you see where I used the heart on the Wednesday, which it was the day. So I've pulled out some October Afternoon Daily Flash Alphas. I've been using those a lot lately, trying to actually use them since I bought all of the colors. And so I use that for my title, which is It's Wing Night. So I'm a huge fan. I've always been a huge fan of The West Wing, and I'm talking really in this journaling about how back in the day when it first came on, trying to wait for Wednesday nights to see it. So that is my layout. Make sure you check out the other ladies in the YouTube hop. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.